Hey friends, want to know some tips and tools that I use so that I can crochet for hours and hours on end? Stay tuned! Hi everyone, and thanks for tuning in. I'm Karen Viloria-Miguel, owner and founder of Canada Bliss handmade crochet hats and accessories. This is the busiest season for me, so right now I'm taking care of online orders and any like custom orders and that sort of thing that might come in that I don't already have stockpiled or made. By this time, I have done hours and hours of crocheting. Ever since like the beginning or like the middle of the summer, I've been crocheting with my crocheters to make stock for different craft shows and to stock up online and to make designs. But no matter what, I'm always still crocheting because there's always custom orders and different things that come in. So people often write to me and ask, what do I do to make sure that I don't get injured? Because as a hand maker, you can get injured, and if that does happen, then it affects your livelihood because then you can't crochet. I remember at one point I had an inflammation in my left hand, and it was terrible. It was like, I think it was tendonitis. It was in my thumb, and then something went wrong with my wrist another time, and I had to put a brace on. So through the years, I've kind of come up with different things that I find are very helpful in making sure that one, I don't get injured, and two, I ongoingly think about self-care and have the mindset of making sure that I stay healthy and I keep my hands and arms and myself healthy so that I can continue working and continue enjoying my craft. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below so you don't miss upcoming tutorials and handmaker advice on crochet and business. So let's get started. The first thing is, on a regular basis, every 30 minutes, I make sure I stretch. In general, when you're exercising or doing anything that's going to be very physical, and crocheting for hours on end is a very physical thing, so you have to make sure that you do stretch. So if you kind of like, you want to just pick up and start crocheting, that's great, but just make sure that after at least 30 minutes, you stop and stretch. And this is the stretch that is most common for crocheters, and this is what I do. Every 30 minutes, I'll just put my crochet hook down and my yarn, and I'll just stretch my wrists and my arms. This gives a nice stretch in like the forearm area here and opens up like this area and relaxes my arms. And I'll rest for at least 5 minutes. So you need to rest and stretch. So that's the first thing I do. The next thing I do, for every 1 to 3 hours I work, I will rest for at least 30 minutes. So if you've been crocheting, like you really want to finish that thing, and you've been crocheting for about an hour to 3 hours, you really must stop for at least 30 minutes, have a snack, have a meal, go get something to drink, and rest, because your body needs a little bit of time to recover and not get stiff. So take a little break every 1 to 3 hours. Another thing that I do to help the resting process is, and by all means, this is not a paid endorsement, but I swear by this cream. It's called Mercy MSM, and here you go. And I'm going to put a link for it below. This is made by this company in Alberta, and basically it's a topical pain cream. So honestly, once you put it on, for about like 2 straight hours, like stiffness and pain is like, it's gone. It's so soothing. I remember one time I was at a trade show and I got a muscle cramp in my calf, and then the ladies who were next to me, it was this company, and they told me, oh, you should try this on your muscle cramps. So I did, and it was like miraculous. So anybody who has like back pain, arm pain, like muscle cramps, I recommend it, because for at least a little while it's a nice relief. Also, when you dab it and you put it on your temples, it's amazing for like headaches, or you put it on the nape of your neck. I do that. And this is a disclaimer, by all means, this is not a replacement for medical advice, okay? So whatever I covered today is not a replacement for medical advice. It's just things that I do to help myself keep well. So basically with the cream, I will just pop it open and put a teeny bit, like, you know, pea size or thing, and I'll put it on my forearms, because this is where it gets stiff, and I'll massage it into my muscles. And then I also put it on my hands and I massage it into the back of my hands, because I tend to get stiff around here. or I really use those muscles. So that's what I do to alleviate pain and also alleviate stiffness. So you're welcome to give that a try. Another thing that I do, like a preemptive measure to make sure that I don't hurt my hand or suffer an injury like I had in the past. As a crocheter, you probably are familiar with this. It's like our crochet hook, right? So there's a thumb rest, and I crochet like this, like with a pencil hold. And I've crocheted like this since I was 6 years old, so there's no changing it. Maybe other holds will cause you less pain or injury or whatever, but this is the way I crochet. So I discovered this ergonomic handle where it comes with this little plunger. It's made by Boyne. It's made for their crochet hooks. And you put this little, you slide on this little plunger thing onto the hook, and then this one already has a plunger on it. This Boyne company has this ergonomic handle where you buy this and you put in the crochet hook you already own, and it turns into a bigger grip. Whether you crochet like a knife hand or you crochet pencil hold, it doesn't close your hand as much as a regular hook. See how the difference is, like in terms of like, this makes a huge difference for me. It's also like wonderful for anybody who doesn't have other ailments in their hands, just to prevent stressing your hand and always keeping it tight and shut and causing carpal tunnel. So try out an ergonomic handle. There are also other ergonomic handles that you can get where I've seen the ones where like there's a little bit of like kind of like a cushion where you hold it. If that helps and that's all you need, then absolutely take good care of yourself. If you can spend a teeny bit more money on making sure that you choose a hook that you use often and it's comfortable to hold, it's worth it, because then you can keep making, you can keep crocheting, and you don't have to stop your project. Another thing that I do that I find really helpful is yoga. And if yoga is not your thing, that's okay, but the stretches I feel really help me are the downward dog pose and like child's pose, because in those poses you're on your hands and knees, you're putting pressure on the ground with your palms open, and the whole act of spreading your palms and opening them and putting pressure on them opens up the bones and the muscles in your hands so that you give it a good stretch, so that when you work later on, you've strengthened your wrist, you strengthen your arms, and you've just given yourself like an opportunity to just work for longer. You build up a resilience, just like when you train for any other kind of physical activity. The more you practice and the more you stretch it out after, and then the more you go back to it, you build up strength and you build up endurance. And as a professional crafter, crocheter, or knitter, you need to build up those muscles in these fine areas where you won't damage them by working them for hours and hours on end. So these are the things that I do, and I would love to hear if you have some things that really work for you. I'd love to hear about them, and if you could share them with me in the comments below. And also, if there's any of these things that you haven't tried that you're going to give a try, or once you hear it, you try it and you love it, please let me know. I would love to know that if I'm helping you out or if there's anything else that I can help you with. So please leave a comment, like, comment, or subscribe. And once again, friends, I hope you have a happy and healthy handmaking life, and I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.